Hello, hello,
Hello,
hello.
hello, hello.
Do you have like a little sign like for the bunny house? Like do you do like the little
Oh,
bunny
yeah,
ears?
bunny. Yeah, like
Bunny
whenever
house.
we do this at our event, our parties, we always do like a group selfie on one as bunny house without the jump because once we did it, the neighbors complained about it. So, or it's always bunny house.
Bunny house? All right. There we
Yeah,
go. Are you coming to us live from the bunny house today?
I am. This is my room at the bunny house. It's the largest room. We have
All right.
just stuff in my little TikTok corner there, and my
There
bed
we
down
go.
there. I have my standing desk.
I love that. I
Yeah,
love it. Cool, cool.
yeah.
Well, we
I
we
have.
are live, so we are all good. If you want, we can go ahead and maybe you can introduce yourself to maybe some of our audience who is not too familiar with you. You know who you are, what you do, and what. Yeah, just a little bit of an intro of you.
Yeah, very excited to be here. Hi everyone, I'm Grace. I like doing a lot of random things. I founded this community called Design Buddies back in April 2020 when I was a student, and today we have over 150,000 members helping designers improve their skills, land jobs, and make networking fun. Our friendly mascot is Fluffle the bunny. Just getting it right there. Fluffle is the friendly bunny mascot of Bunny House or and Design Buddies, but also the inspiration behind Bunny House. That's funny because we hop into design. Bunny House, I also founded like a hacker house or like a founder creator house here in San Francisco, gathering a lot of founders and creators together. And I love creating content about like design and career on LinkedIn and lifestyle and travel on Instagram. And I was formerly a UX designer at a large tech company, but I recently left my corporate job exactly 1 month ago, April 1st.
Wow.
And yeah, right now I'm like just vibing and just, I have a lot of random things I like to do, but what I love to do is like, I love design and I love like bringing people together, hosting epic events, bringing good memories, having good vibes. And I'm learning to train. I'm trying to train like I was like a D1 athlete again. So I was D1 cross country track runner. So I just came back from a run, been lifting a lot more and learning how to dance and act and be entertaining. So I love entertaining and bringing people together. And that's what I quit my corporate job to kind of explore more of. And born and raised in Cupertino, California, so Apple and Silicon Valley kid, now living in San Francisco. And I love traveling as well. I know Nico, we connected over cruising. I know I'm like excited for you on your cruise as well. But last year I spent 2 months living on a cruise ship and I went to over 20 different countries. So I don't know, like I like cruise as a way to travel at scale. So I've been to over 30 countries in my life, but I love SF. I love California. So that's where I live.
Awesome. Very cool. Yeah, you can feel your energy coming through the screen, which is amazing. And I'm very happy that you're now in a role that really like lets you be yourself and lets you bring all these people together. So that's amazing. I'm very, very
Thank
happy
you.
about that, to hear that. I kind of also too want to learn a little bit more about you as a designer and your just like your background and everything too. So if you had to say like any core beliefs or experiences that have shaped you the most as a designer or somebody who loves design, what would some of those core beliefs be?
Yeah, I would say my biggest inspiration to go into design is actually this game called Maple Story. Let us know in the comments if you ever played Maple Story. So Maple Story is this massive multiplayer online role-playing game where you can like be a magician, be a warrior, be anything you want, um, explore this whole virtual world, kill monsters, do quests, and there's you can see all your friends. You can like dress up as your character. It's like a whole social life and I was a guild leader as well. And so Maple Story really inspired and the art and the music and everything about it. I just love it. Like it inspired me to start drawing anime when I was younger. And it inspired me to do community building because I was a guild leader when I was like
Yeah.
this 14-year-old girl, bossing a bunch of like 30-year-old dudes around. So it was like hell fun. And but Maple Story is actually because growing up in Silicon Valley, like I want to be an anime artist. Like I love drawing anime style, cute kawaii bunny rabbits. But you know, like Silicon Valley, like all the adults are like, you gotta be a doctor, engineer, lawyer, or failure. So I thought I was gonna be a failure. But then when I was 13, my mom, she started paying me to go to the gym with her. And then that's when I discovered running. So I started like running really fast. Like I was formerly like a self-proclaimed couch potato. And then I started running at the gym because I was getting money from my mother. And I ended up breaking a lot of my school records in high school and went to nationals a couple of times for like cross country and track, and which inspired me to study bioengineering in college. I went to Santa Clara University. I was like, hi parents, hi Asian fam, relatives, Asian parent friends. I want to be a doctor and an engineer. Look at me. They're like, wow. I was like, yeah. Well, like honestly, I was like the most unhappy I was ever was because I feel like I was like I want to learn bioengineering because I want to biohack myself to run faster. But I branded it as pre-med so I can sound fancy because I cared too much about other people how they thought of me. So I was like, after 2 years of like doing bioengineering, working in a lab, I was like, not really vibing with it. So I decided to pivot over to computer science engineering. And I liked computer science because I want to make games. Like I didn't really care about algorithms, like programming. I just make cool, dope games. And I feel like that wasn't like probably the reason to go, but I just make cool stuff. So I did computer science. So I ended up doing a bachelor's in bioengineering and like a master's in computer science engineering because I wanted to learn how to make games.
Hmm.
But I feel like after doing a couple of internships, I was like in software engineering and game dev, I was like, I am so slow at coding. Why am I not getting this? I feel like coding is like for me as a designer, for me it's just Grace, not just a designer. It was like hard for me to like think in like that kind of way, like logical, theory, abstracty
Hmm.
way, because I'm very visual. I'm a very kinesthetic learner. I need to see things. I need to do it. So it's not really my strength, even though I tried so hard. Maybe I could have tried even harder. Who knows? But after that, I was like, after 2 years of doing that, I was like, So I graduated college like June 2019 from an undergrad. I was like, I kind of want to explore UX design. I liked UX. I was drawn to UX because it combines like creativity, but also problem solving, like kind of like my art and engineering background. And it pays really well in tech without needing to code. And that was like one of my favorite parts. So I got into UX design. And UX design is like pretty lit, like no cap. I'm like a Gen Z, so like I talk like this. Right. But I started learning UX design like fall of 2019, and I was applying to a lot of internships and getting ghosted all the time because like I don't have a traditional design background. I was like engineering. I never went to a design education course, degree, or boot camp.
Wow.
And so April 2020 happened. Oh, during that time, I was like, I feel like I grew up in a bubble, and I was like pretty sheltered as a kid. So I always like challenge myself to do something that makes me feel uncomfortable every day to grow. And so I started posting in this Facebook group. This is fall 2019, called Subtle Agents Bay Area. And I was like, so who wants to co-work at cafes from this like random people on the internet? And I would like start a build a community of like work study folks, work study fam, they called it. And it was like really fun. I did it probably like once a week. And then pandemic happened. I was like really loving the community building, the in-person community building from these like co-working sessions with random
Hmm.
people on the internet who later became friends. So I started Design Buddies April 2020 because I was like bored, lonely at home. And I just want some design friends. I want to learn design together. I want to have fun. I like bunnies. And I also needed a job. And I was getting ghosted. So I was like, okay, I want friends. I can also build my network at the same time. So I did design buddies for like 2 months. Later, got a job at Electronic Arts EA as an intern, and then worked there ever since. From June 2020 all the way to April 1st, 2024. So almost 4 years.
Wow.
But I loved my time at EA. I got to work on a lot of products, like both internal and external facing, that crosses over like millions and millions of users, which is really fun. And with my Maple Story and huge gaming upbringing, it was always my dream to work in the games industry when I was a kid. So
Yeah.
meet that. And yeah, EA was so great. I met so many of my lifelong friends who I still stay connected with, learned so much about life, management, running Design Buddies from the mentors I met at EA. But I decided to step off my role because I feel like I could make more impact with my life by gathering like communities and entertaining people. And I'm just like honestly still exploring. I love UX design, but I feel like to work full time as a UX designer, I have to spend more time in just that.
Hmm.
And right now, I just love doing so many things. I can't just like spend my time just doing UX design because it's a full time corporate job. It's a lot of time, and
Yeah.
I feel like I just wanted to explore and just potentially like make more impact. But I feel like my time at EA has really built a strong foundation in life for me to explore anything I want.
I love that. That's a fantastic story. I feel like I know so much more about you, and it like the passion makes so much sense, and I love to see it. So thank you so much for sharing that with me. I'm also excited too to dive in a little bit because Design Buddies has doesn't only have designers, it has engineers, it has really anybody who works on product, who is like there to designers and developers always have the same end goal, building a great product too. Question for you: what is one thing that you think designers and developers have in common?
I think they all want to solve a problem together. And I feel like all of them have kind of an equal say on how to solve the problem. I feel like designers have ideas, developers also have ideas. I feel like they should just like work together more instead of saying like I am only design. I should not learn how to code. Like I'm not against designers learning how to code. Like I know how to code. I don't think it's like a bad thing. I think it helps. And I feel like developers, it's also a good thing to learn design thinking and how Figma works. And I feel like they should like work closer together and collaborate and just like kind of code great instead of like seeing themselves like a silo, like, oh no, I can't touch code. But like, no, be curious about it, see how it's built,
I
and then
love
design
that.
it more effectively. And engineers like give feedback on designs and get your input on there instead of just like seeing the specs and just like coding it without questioning it.
Yeah, I love that. Is that one thing? Do you see a lot of those connections happening in Design Buddies? Is Design Buddies like a place for designers and developers to come together finally?
Yeah, we have a lot of developers hanging out in design buddies as well. A lot of like also like computer science students. Um, And I feel like there's a lot of designers also looking to code and people looking to hire UX engineers and UX engineers in design buddies as well. So I do see these discussions happening here.
Awesome, very cool. What does the future of design and dev look like in your opinion? I know you talked a little bit more just about more collaboration, but do you have any other ideas on how that can happen?
I feel like a lot of the roles might be merged a little bit.
Hello, hello, everybody. Let's see. I want to make sure. Here
Hi.
we
I
go.
think my internet just
There.
randomly dropped. I
All
don't know
good.
why.
All
This
good.
never
No
happens.
no worries. We've got a fantastic comment section so far, which is wonderful. So I think we can go ahead and just hop right back into it if you're all good. I can hear you and see you
Mhm.
good. This is perfect. So yeah, so we can go ahead and get going. We the last part that I heard, was sort of like what the future of design and dev looks like in your opinion. And I think I lost you like right as you were starting there. So if you could like give like a quick little summary of that, what would that be for you?
Yeah, I feel like, with the rise of like AI, the buzzword of the times, I feel like there's more tasks that can be automated, and so I feel like I see the roles kind of converging a little bit, like designers becoming more technical, engineers becoming more product focused. Because I feel like last year, especially, there's a lot of advancements in AI that are very tech first. It's like, oh, look at this cool technology, but there's not very many use cases to it. And so I think this is the year where designers and product managers can bring more use and help solve problems with the cool tech that we have. And also with designers, understanding how this tech is built so you can design things that work and working better with developers and thinking in more technical ways. I think the roles will like converge a little bit and more things will be shared.
Awesome. I love that. Yeah, there's a big rise of the design engineer lately that I've seen. So many people talking about design engineering. There's even like books and job boards for design engineers out there. Do you think this is something that you've seen an increase in design buddies? Have there been a lot more design engineers joining, or is this like a topic that you've seen being discussed there too?
I've seen that as well. Like in SF, like I go to a lot of like I have a lot of friends who are like founders and or startups, and they're always looking mostly looking for the first designer who can also code. At least at startups. But I feel like this is more common with startups where more roles are shared.
Okay.
At large companies, these roles are, in my experience, there because there's like more employees that can be there. These roles are a bit separate. But I feel like if anyone's interested in working as the first designer in startups, picking up front end is a good skill to have.
Awesome. I love that. If you had to give advice to anybody who's just starting their career in design or development, what would your advice be?
I think just be curious, like just keep learning and learning by doing. Recognize like how you best learn because some people learn better by like reading, some people learn better by like watching videos, some people learn better by doing. So just seeing what works best for you. And sometimes people prefer more structure, like taking a course. Some people prefer just doing projects. There's no right or wrong answer. So recognize what learning style you are and learn it and also keep practicing it. Just do it. Like I feel like it's good to like understand what it is, but the real practice comes in just doing it. And so just don't think too much about like what you have to learn. Just do it and get feedback and keep going.
Awesome. I love it. And if you had to guess, what would the main difference in communication with other designers versus developers be? So I know, you have a big design background. So how is that different communicating with designers versus developers?
I feel like I like to treat them very similarly because at the end of the day, we're just trying to solve a problem and build a product together. But with developers, sometimes they would want like pixel perfect specs, like, all the design tokens, and have it all tied together. So like on like a work wise, I would be more specific in how, like what is the construction of this page, and what the functionality it is, and what the flow of it
Uh-huh.
is. For designers, I'll talk about the flow as well, and like maybe what problem I'm trying to solve, how this design pattern or this design flow, this design helps solve that problem and be more like high level about it and versus with developers go into like the details of how it's placed out.
Awesome. I love that. If you had to give a piece of advice to make communication between designers and developers better, what would your advice to both sides be?
They just think of each other as like equal parties trying to build something together and not have to just say like, oh, I'm a designer, I can't code, or like, oh, I'm a developer, I can't design. And just like let go of that limiting mindset and just like learn each other's stuff and help each other out.
I
And ask each other for feedback and don't be afraid to ask questions. There's no stupid questions. If people say your questions are stupid, then they're not like the kind of people you should be working
Exactly,
with.
exactly. At the end of the day, everybody just wants to build a good product. Everybody wants to put out their best work. And so, like you said, bring everybody together. That's a really great piece of advice. And I really hope to see more of that and just more of collaboration in general in the future. I love that. Very cool. Thank you. That was all of my interview questions that I had for you. I think we can sort of dive into some little fun questions now for you. So this segment is called overrated or underrated. So I'm going to give you a few terms, and you can tell me, in your opinion, if you think they are overrated, underrated, or you can also say properly rated as well too. So the very first
Mhm.
one is going to be a font, Inter. Do you think it's overrated or underrated?
It's I think it's like in between. I like that font. I use it.
All right, Helvetica.
I think it's the same. I don't really have an opinion on fonts. I think they're all like good in their own way. Because like even like Comic Sans, like it's like good for people with dyslexia. So like it really depends how you look at it.
I love that. I think that's such an overlooked fact so many times of like Comic Sans does have a real practical use, but so many people just like to make it the butt of the joke. So I appreciate the recognition that it gets. Awesome. Now a few different design terms. So skeuomorphism, overrated or underrated?
I think in between as well. I feel like I don't really have any opinions on things. I like everything depends for me.
All good. All
It
good.
depends on where to.
Yes. If you had to pick, which would you pick? Flat design or skeuomorphism?
Flat design. It's like cleaner
Mm. All right.
and more aesthetically
All
pleasing.
right, good to know. Naming your layers, overrated or underrated?
It depends. So I think it's like overrated if you're just like designing graphics in Figma or like designing something for fun, not handing off to developers. But if you're handing off to developers, yes, it is very important. So I think it's underrated.
Awesome. I love it. Artificial intelligence, overrated or underrated?
I think it depends as well. Like I think AI is useful in many contexts, but I don't when I think AI is like not as like overrated is like when folks like just slap some APIs and just like have a ChatGPT wrapper and call it like a new innovative product, I think it's overrated. But if it has like a real use case, like generating new stuff, I think it's like underrated, like the power of
All
it.
right, good to know. Good to know. Canva.
I like Canva. Like I feel like Canva and like both Adobe Express are good to use for people who might interested not want to do graphics but without a design background. So I think it's like underrated for them, but overrated for like like professional
Yeah,
designers.
that's a very similar sentiment that I've heard as well too. Because coming
Mhm.
from like the marketing and communication side, I'm like Canva is a godsend to like anybody in this
Mhm.
profession. But
Yeah.
after working with real designers, though, it's like you can clearly tell like what has been designed
Mhm.
by a designer and what has not. Awesome, very cool. Thank you so much. Our next little segment is just some rapid fire questions. So you can, of course, take a little bit of time to answer them too if you'd like. If you had to guess, how many rectangles have designers created?
Ooh. I have no idea. I feel like it's in the trillions, maybe like 9 trillion, 900 trillion, 800 million, something like that. I don't know.
I like the
It's
specificity.
infinite.
Yeah, think about.
Infinite because like when people generate stuff with AI, like it's like probably infinitely generating rectangles. Like when you yeah, like generate like AI stuff, it's like infinitely generating their back. So I think infinite.
That technically I think is the highest answer we've ever had to that question because if you had to pick like a Price is Right style answer and they were like you have to pick one number, what number would that be for you?
Infinity. Um, well,
Perfect.
maybe like I don't know, like 10 gigathousand. I don't know what is above a
Yeah.
trillion.
I love that. I love it. That's perfect. If you could describe, looking back on your time at EA and going from design to dev, if you could describe your design to dev process in just 3 words, what would those 3 words be?
Align. I'm sorry. I'm trying not to use corporate jargon. Vibe check with them the problem you're solving in the beginning before you design the real thing. Vibe checks everywhere. Um, make the design. Vibe check with them again. Spec it up. Make it document the designs, and then vibe check before handing it over.
I
A two-way vibe check.
two-way
Not line.
two
Vibe check. It's
two-way
a
vibe
vibe.
check. Two-way vibe check is a
Yes.
fantastic
Actually,
way.
three-way, because like you gotta get like the product, the research, the business, like everyone vibe checks. Because
True.
my pet peeve is like I would design something and like someone comes in like after it's almost done, like, hey, no, you forgot that. Da, da, da. So like I always like to like as early on in the process, vibe check with every single stakeholder and it says the right direction, even from the ideation, the problem we're solving, like a sticky notes, that phase, like vibe align and sign, and just like I'll like send everyone like meeting notes afterwards, like, hey, we aligned on this, so I don't have to like waste time and like go back and stuff. But sometimes things change, so I'm always like flexible in case like life happens and
Yeah,
like updates happen. But like that vibe check and just making sure everyone feels like they have a say in that problem. So like vibe checks all along.
I love it. I love
I
it.
kind of decided to use vibe checks, by the way.
I think you could coin that term. I think that is all good. Awesome. If you could describe your design process in just one word, what would that one word be?
Could be. Man, am I gonna use the word vibes again? But I'm gonna use the word vibes because it has to like vibe along the problem you're solving.
Hmm.
It has to vibe to the user. It has to vibe to the business goals. It has to vibe to everyone who's building it, and it has to vibe to the company's goals. So like, it just has to like vibe,
There you go.
like align or not align. No, sorry, no corporate jargon. It has to vibe and like create like the synergy. Not to use
That's
another corporate word, but yeah,
I was like,
I'm leaning at this
when you
line.
said corporate jargon, I was like, I know synergy's coming. Synergy is there. Synergy is
No,
always
like ducks in a row.
circling back on things. We could do a whole
The
session.
new normal.
Yes.
Ping me.
I love it. And then if you could describe yourself in one word, what would that word be?
Oh man, I don't want to use the word vibes again. I would say, curious.
I love that. I love it. That's perfect. That is perfect. And that wraps up all of the questions that I had for you today, which brings us to our final segment, which is called So You Think You're a Designer. For anybody who's just tuning in, this is our segment of the show where we ask our esteemed guests to try to recreate the Zeppelin logo in just 2 minutes using Microsoft Paint. So if you want, you're welcome to go ahead and share your screen, and we are ready to follow along your wonderful design journey.
Yeah, can you send me the link to
Of
Microsoft
course,
Paint?
of course. Yeah, it's just jspaint.app. jspaint.app, and that should take you right there. For anybody who isn't familiar with it, it is truly just like an online web version of Microsoft Paint. So if you ever want to, if you're feeling nostalgic, if you are feeling like you want to take a trip down memory lane and try to see if you could design a button or a user interface using Microsoft Paint, now you have the tool to do so.
Amazing. Let me share my screen. Does this look all right?
Awesome. It looks great. And as soon as you start drawing, I'll start the clock and you've got 2 minutes. So whenever you're ready, go
All
ahead.
right. Ready.
All right.
So there's a blimp, and the blimp has some tails. I'll make it like a little fish, little airplane, some personality.
Love that.
And I think there is some like rings to it as well. So I'm gonna make the rings slightly darker, and it's orange. I think the rings has this, and then like maybe I think it has like two of them, like two rings like this, and then I think it has some stripes. Make the stripes a little bit orange. Oh, okay, let's see this. Has like stripes to it. I think I'm gonna, for this special one, I'm gonna make a happy face.
All right.
So I think the blimp can be happy.
I love it. We haven't ever had anybody do like a little happy face. This is beautiful.
This is Zeplin's happy.
He looks so happy.
Bunny to it too. I know. I love happy
And you have 1 minute remaining.
Okay. I'm gonna add some bunnies. And I'm gonna add some. It's singing. It's so happy that it's like singing.
Love that. Oh my goodness.
It's singing.
You're good at drawing music notes with the pencil.
Thank you. It's in the clouds. It's floating in the sky.
All right, 30 seconds left. So any last little embellishments?
I'm gonna add some get some stripes. I need some clothes. Some sparkles.
All right.
And a little happy sun sticking out.
And we have 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, and 1. That is perfect.
Here's the Zeppelin logo.
Beautiful.
Of the bunny floating in the sky.
I love it. That's the first time that we had somebody like customize it so much, and I think that is beautiful. So thank you very much for setting the scene for this beautiful little Zeppelin logo. If you can go to File and then export that as a PNG, I would be very happy to have this and add it to my little collection.
Yeah, I'm happy to.
Yeah. So
I mean, I can figure it out. Yeah, save as. Yeah.
Perfect. Awesome. This is beautiful. Zeppelin logo bunny. All right. Sounds good. Well, that brings us to the very end of our session here today, Grace. So I wanted to thank you again. I apologize too for the technical difficulty. It might have been on my side as well too. Basically what I'll do is I'll go back through and I'll be able to cut both of the videos together right where they cut. So all good there. And if you want to leave any last words of wisdom or advice for our listeners, please feel free to do so.
Thank you. I really appreciate having me on. It was so a fun conversation. I love like drawing the Zeppelin logo. So now today is the best day to start something new. Like, stop waiting. Like, life is so short. Life can end anytime. So study that design, apply for that job, quit that job, start that startup, propose to your significant other, buy that house, go travel. Whatever you ask that person out, like whatever you do in life, just do it right now or do it today. Like, it's the best day, and enjoy the journey. Like, life, I feel like you should enjoy every day, not just like only when you meet your goals or only during vacations. Every day is part of that. And so find something that brings you joy every day and do something that challenges you every day to grow. So whether that be like reaching out to someone new, attending an event, trying out a new skill, learning new skills, like just keep enjoying every day and doing something outside the comfort zone to grow and stop waiting and just start executing.
Awesome. And join Design Buddies.
And of course, join Design Buddies, cuts free. And we have our conference coming up on May 20th. It's going to be free for everyone online. And also in person in San Francisco. And our theme is Design the Future. So we have a lot of topics in like AI and
Ooh.
spatial design and more.
All
But
right.
AI and spatial design too.
I love it. I love it. Yeah, we'll be on the lookout for that. Hopefully, we get some new bunnies in there. Well, thank you very much again, Grace. I really do appreciate your time, and I hope everybody has a great rest of your day. So, see you
Thank you so much.
later.
Really great. Also, feel free to connect with me on like LinkedIn, Instagram, Twitter. I'm on everything. TikTok. I dance on LinkedIn, so don't want to miss that. YouTube as well. But yeah, I will check out the comments. Would love to say hi to y'all in the chat too.
Yeah, we got some good comments on LinkedIn before the great break. So there's some really good comments and a lot of fun comments on there too. I think a few people were like, "Oh, I got my start in Club Penguin." So some fellow games there. Yeah, awesome.